Where's the music? Let's do it. All right, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in, guys. This is it's not a sports show.
Oh, you got it.
Not a sports show.
This is not a sports show. Is actually, I found out, is our Canadian brothers, our brothers from the north.
Sister show.
Our sister show. They have a show called This Is Not, which is fantastic. You should check that one out as well. Anyway, I have the world's strongest man, Mark Henry, here with me as always. There he is. And Texas's greatest battle rapper.
Of all time.
Of all time, the Phranchyze. Look at that. One more time. Let us see that again.
Look at that.
God damn, you've been doing those curls.
Right.
You've been working out with your boy Gabe.
That's right.
Arnold.
Yeah, shout out Gabe Luna.
Phranchyze, you want to start us off with something?
Yeah, so we just figured this out. There's going to be a new special extra episode of Tiger King.
Oh.
And Dino, you just watched it last night, you said?
Just finished it last night.
Just
I
finished
started it 2 days ago and finished it last night. So
I'm anxious to see what's in this
solid binge.
what's in this new episode, because in the last episode we leave him, he's locked up. He's talking to us over the phone. He's on the jail phone, which shows a video screen, and he looks like he's not having a great time. He looks like he's pretty scared.
Yeah, jail will do that to you.
Yeah. Which I would imagine a guy like him who's used to having control his whole life, and now somebody's like, hey, here, check it out. You're going to give me all your food. I'm about to beat the brakes off you. And here's the thing. He's got a bad knee, right? He's got a bad knee.
He's not getting away from anyone.
He's not getting away from anyone. And they don't really care about you in those kind of situations. They let you kind of fend for yourself. So that part of it I thought was sad. But we were talking, and I want to just kind of use this as a time to kind of, give you guys a PSA. This is a lesson. I like Joe Exotic.
Drop the soap.
I like Joe Exotic. I think Joe Exotic at his heart was a decent human being that got caught up in maybe some stuff that was bigger than him. But let this be a lesson to you. In life, STFU. Shut up.
Shut the fuck up.
Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Listen, Carroll Baskin, she probably did it, but hey, bro, that's got nothing to do with you, bro. What are you doing?
He didn't watch. He didn't watch American Gangster.
Ah, yeah. Don't wear the fur coat.
Don't wear the fur coat. Don't buy anything. Be quiet, bruh. Okay.
Don't bring the heat on yourself.
Like, bruh, you're pretending to kill the woman on your show? Like, insane. I'm gonna have this bitch's head in a jar. Like, bro, you can't do shit like that. This lady got millions of dollars. Like, this was the most petty lawsuit. They were like, you sure you want to prosecute? And they not only won it, they won all of his property. They won a judgment against him. So now you got a judgment against you because you won't shut the fuck up. You got snitches around you because you won't shut the fuck up. And at the end of it, everybody just took everything you had, and you got left with nothing because you won't shut the fuck up.
That dude Doc said it best, too. He was like, look, if you're going to hire a hitman to go to fucking Florida and kill someone from Oklahoma, drive from Oklahoma to Florida, and you only pay that guy, you negotiate to $3,000.
Come on, bro.
Shit, it's not going to work out for
That's
you.
the Fed playbook. That's straight up out
$3,000.
That's straight up out the Fed playbook, bro. If you watch any show they've done about murder for hire where they catch the person, it's always some fucking low-ass amount to make them look stupid. It's always like $1,000. Or like, so when they prosecute you, they can say, look at this dumbass.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Who hires a hitman for 3 bands?
So, and right before we went on, Fran, you were touching on something. It's all fucking white people doing this,
bro. Let me
get into that for me.
Okay, there's a couple aspects to this. The first is the wild animal aspect of it. Okay, that's the first barrier.
Black man can't even have a wild cat.
No, a wild pit bull,
a tabby.
Nothing.
If I had a damn wild calico, they would come and get my ass.
Bro, you can't even have a dog that's not registered with the fucking county. Okay? And these fools are transporting. Think about what Michael Vick went to jail for, okay?
Prison.
I'm sorry.
He didn't go to jail.
Federal penitentiary.
He go to jail here in Austin.
Federal prison.
He's still going around saying I'm sorry every fucking day he's on TV.
He might not get to the Hall of Fame.
Ostracized.
They might not put him in the Hall of Fame because of this.
Yeah.
Damn.
Think about this, bro. He went to jail for illegally fighting animals, but that's not a federal offense, okay? A lot of people don't know this. He went to jail for bringing other people from other states into Virginia and transporting dogs across state lines. With any federal case with contraband, it's called interstate commerce. That's how they get you.
Just looking for shit to make an example out of
They
him.
very rarely will, unless it's like straight up like a drug case. They will,
Basically, he was too lazy to take his ass to Mexico and do it legally.
pretty much, or just to not have people driving in, or like to disguise the way that people are coming in. But at that point, like, who's going to prosecute for dogs? That's probably what they're thinking. So interstate commerce, anytime there's something like this where it's tough to prosecute based on the first thing, they're going to get you on something else. In this case, it was the interstate commerce. If you look at the documentary, these fools are talking openly. Oh, yeah, this fool's got a book. Like, oh, yeah, I drove a tiger to India. Oh, yeah, drove him up here. I don't give a fuck. Like, all this shit is illegal. And then they don't get him for they said that he killed 5 tigers. They can't even make that stick, okay? They didn't get him on the interstate commerce. They couldn't make the killing of the tiger stick. So he basically got himself locked up for this whole murder for hire thing. That boy Jeff basically framed up the setup, like brought the setup
Got
together.
him on the Tigers eventually, though, right?
Oh,
They got
no.
him on 5 of them.
No, the tigers didn't stick. They didn't.
We had like, whatever, 16 or 19 counts,
Yeah.
felonies. None of those were Tigers?
Maybe some of them, but most of it was the murder for hire stuff. And even with the years on the
You have to go to the fact checkers.
yeah, we got the fact checkers. But even with the years on the Tigers, he wasn't going to get crazy time. You're not going to get crazy time on that. You're going to get more fines than time.
And I don't want no time.
Yeah.
How,
You're going to get
I
more
want
fines.
none.
You're going to get more fines than time on anything animal related.
how's the guy that admitted he was going to go fucking kill somebody for this $3,000? How's he not in jail?
That's how the feds do you. The
Snitches get
snitch
off.
said, "Hey, I want immunity for me and my man." That's how the snitches do you. That's how the feds only want 1 or 2 guys. The state is taking everybody to jail. The feds want 1 or 2 guys. So the feds don't give a fuck.
Who came up with the idea? That's who the feds want.
Right. They'll give everybody immunity if they can get the big fish. Look at
All the pawns, they get to be put back on the board. The king and the rooks and the knights, them some bitches go to jail.
That's how the mafia fell. Snitches.
So one of the other things that gets me is like towards the end of spoiler, I guess a little bit, but one of the end of at
You
the
seen it
end,
by now. Shit.
yeah. Joe's talking. They show Joe video footage of Joe when he's younger, when he's first getting started. And to me, it seems like he has the same message that Carroll Baskin has.
Yep.
He starts off with the idea of let's save these tigers and let's not breed these tigers. And then whatever it is, if it's greed or whatever, gets to him and he starts progressing into what he became, which is the Tiger King.
Right.
But that got me, man. That got me like he wasn't always this, and he knows in his heart of hearts that what he was doing is wrong. And if that's the case, why is he so hell-bent and aggressive towards Carroll Baskin for doing what she's doing?
Because he's smoking fucking meth.
Just leave it alone. There you go.
Smoking
Yeah,
meth.
smoking meth. That's it.
He's making a bunch of money.
He laid
smoking
up
a
with
bunch of fucking meth.
young guys that are addicts.
Yeah.
Oh, and neither of those guys were gay, by the way.
Yeah,
All of a sudden, like,
they're smoking meth, bro. Like, bro, they're probably making those videos.
You smoking meth, you do a bunch of stupid shit.
Yeah. they're probably making those videos at like fucking 4 or 5 in the morning, bro. Like all fucked up.
Hey man, take your shirt off.
Yeah. We're gonna kill this bitch.
how about that security footage they have of fucking what's his name shooting himself in the fucking
Travis.
head,
Yeah.
and you had the reaction. And I'm watching that with my wife. She's an actor, I'm an actor, whatever. And we're both like judging acting all the time when we used to watch this thing. And we're watching this thing that we know is real, and we're like,
Yeah.
that is some terrible fucking acting, is what it looks like,
Yeah.
right? And you're like, that's real. That's
real.
what fucking real shit looks like.
He killed himself.
This guy just literally goes like this,
He
like
didn't.
fucking Macaulay Culkin from Home Alone.
Yeah. He froze. But you're watching death.
Wow.
Yeah. That's some real shit. And
I do know Joe.
How you know Joe?
I was doing a shoot here in Austin and needed a cameraman to shoot it. And I went online and started looking up people to shoot. Now we're called Dino.
How long ago was that?
This was probably 8 years ago. And the guy said, yeah, I'll come down from Dallas. I'm doing this shoot up in Oklahoma at this animal sanctuary. And I was like, yeah, man, come on down. And he came down, and I guess the conversation Uh-oh.
What
Okay.
happened?
I heard the sound go off. Okay.
Oh, 1 second.
Oh, yeah.
Switch to the 4. Switch to the super source. So I have. Okay, go back. No, not you. Yeah.
So I heard the conversation about, man, I think I'm going to come to Austin and check it out. I heard Austin's fun town. All right, come on down. And Joe came with the photographer and the sound guy.
Wow.
Just hang out in Austin. And I met him. Hey, what's up? You know, this. And we went
He hit
and
on you?
No. I don't think I'm his type.
I don't think so.
Big black dude, scary, could possibly kill you if you hit on him.
I don't think so.
I don't leave that dude alone.
Dude's not scared of tigers.
Hey,
Well.
a tiger should be afraid of me. I whoop a bear ass with a switch.
I told you about trying to take this honey, boy.
I'm full of this shit. I'm full of it. If I saw, listen, actually, I cannot say that I would not whoop a bear with a switch because I actually have chased a bear with a branch. I lived in Colorado Springs. This is no bullshit. I lived in Colorado Springs, and every day, every Memorial Day, the crowd would fill the whole park.
Okay.
And the black bears used to come knock the garbage cans over.
The food. Yeah.
There was a little kid standing by the water, skipping rocks, and I saw this black bear running, kind of not running, but like jogging toward this little kid. And I'm like, does anybody else see? Where is this? And I started running.
Yeah.
And I grabbed the only thing that was on the ground was a big limb, and I started breaking pieces off to try to make a stick. But by the time I got there,
What was the goal? Why were you trying to make a stick?
I wanted to hit the fucking bear if it was on the kid.
Yeah.
Right. But I
And
mean,
I'm
like
thinking
less
I
limbs
needed
on
to
the
be
stick
sharp.
is better?
I'm thinking
Sharp, but you're making a spear then.
I'm trying to make a something sharp to stab this motherfucker.
Spear. Got it.
So
Where are you going to get him? In the eye at
don't
this
call me a spear chucker.
Yeah, it's like it's just teetering on the borderline here.
I'll shake the shit out you.
Let's call it a bayonet.
I was trying to make it something sharp.
Yeah. I was
Period.
like, he said it twice. I
I'm
was like,
screaming, I'm screaming, no, no, get out. And the kid turns and looks at me scared to death. And I'm like, run.
He thought you were coming
and
after
now the
him?
bear sees me and stops and turns around and takes off. And I realized that the whole time I was running, I wasn't breathing. I almost passed out. I mean, I literally got to one knee and just had to breathe for like 5 minutes. I thought I was gonna die.
Yeah, but that's just a black bear. Talk to me when you go after a grizzly.
yeah, them black bears are kind of
Yeah,
skittish.
it's just a
They'll
black
run
bear.
away.
Yeah.
You know, adrenaline made me run towards that bear because thinking about it afterwards, and every time I told people, they said, well, what were you going to do when you got there? And I was like, shit, I wasn't thinking.
that
I was reacting.
Thank them.
Adrenaline makes you do, it's like the meth. It makes you do stupid shit.
I'm going to get me a bear. Hey, but you can tell a story that you chased off a bear now.
I tell you, I chased off a bear, man.
So was Joe cool? Was he just like chill? I can't imagine him just like hanging out, not saying anything. Was he?
No, he was pretty cool. He wanted to get out in Austin and party.
I bet he did.
That's what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
And man, that was the first time that I saw one of those pickup trucks with the extended cab on it.
Yeah.
And they had the trailer with one of those little aluminum storage things. Man, like the dude had money, man.
Damn.
Had money. I was like, wow, this is nice. Like, man, how much this cost? You know, and he.
And at that time,
quick to
did you
tell
ask
you.
him, like, you knew what he did? Did you, like, talk to him about what he did at all? Or
Yeah,
was it all just like.
My wife
just a
and
guy
I
from Dallas?
both were curious about the animals.
Right.
And like, what kind of animals you got? Tigers. And he had some other exotic animals too. I think he had like
Some chimps.
Chimpanzees?
yeah, chimpanzees. And he actually, there was a reserve here in Austin where one of the people had had chimpanzees, and his name was Tyler. I remember that. And I think he went out there to see him.
Okay.
So like he loved the animals. It wasn't just a money thing. He just wanted to see them. to be around them.
He's at the end of the show. He's getting choked up about his chimpanzees because
Yeah.
he takes them to a bigger, like a zoo and a space where they can run around, and immediately these chimpanzees who have been in separate cages are now in the same space, and they just start hugging. And Joe is hit with this that over the past 10 or 15 years or something,
Separate cages.
he's had these chimpanzees in separate cages and has just been torturing them because they couldn't have any connection.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it just hit him right there. And he admitted, like, I fucked up.
You know, that one scene they show you like a long, not a super wide shot, but like a wide enough shot to where you can see the chimpanzee in the whole cage. And you look into the chimpanzee's eyes, like, man, look, and I don't want to get into like a deeper conversation about this. It's just kind of my opinion. When I look at any other animal in captivity, let's say I look at a bear, and I look in a bear's eyes, I feel sorry that the bear is in captivity, right? But when I look at a chimpanzee or a gorilla or an orangutan, any type of ape,
Primate.
it's different, man.
Yeah.
It's not
way
that
different.
and I can't describe it. It's in my soul. It just feels different. You know, it's hard for me to describe. It does not feel the same. It feels like I'm looking at a human being in a cage, and it's I don't know why that is. You know, I don't know why that is, but it's just weird, man. I see like a dolphin or a whale, and again, I feel bad because I think all animals should be free. But when I look at a primate, especially with the great apes, you know, your chimps, your orangutans, your gorillas, because you know, if you believe that we're tied to them the closest, it just makes me feel a certain way that I can't quite describe. You know, that's different from any other animal.
You know, I had the pleasure of, when I competed in the Olympics in '96, I got to go to the Primate Center in Atlanta, Georgia, and with my manager and father figure at the time, Terry Todd, he had a really good friend that ran the facility. And even he said, I see these as a link to us, so I treat them like it.
Right.
And man, Terry Maple, man, what a unbelievable dude. Like, got to hang out with him, and that was the Willie B was the famous gorilla that you remember back in the early '80s. They had the Samsonite commercials.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, him beating the Samsonite luggage and like all of that stuff. But what really happened in that story is Willie B took the luggage, tore the shit in half, looked at it funny, threw one piece away, and grabbed the other side of it and dipped it in water and drank out of it. So Samsonite luggage is not gorilla proof. But just saying, like Terry, he looked at the primates as a link to man, which is really not.
Right.
But he treated them like it,
Right.
and he said that it was different, just like you just said. It was different to him.
Yeah, it just feels different. You know, there's a lot we still don't know about how we're connected, but you know, there's a reason why. You know what I mean? There's a reason why that.
I know all my people. I'm not related to none of them.
He's like, my people from Mississippi somewhere. I'm good, fam.
We from Louisiana.
Okay.
You just lost us our Samsonite sponsorship, by the way.
Some old guy in a room. Fuck these motherfuckers.
Yeah.
We like duffels and backpacks anyway.
Right. It's that new drip.
So, any predictions on what this new episode is?
He's getting his ass beat in jail. That's my prediction. You see, that fool's got a bleached blonde mullet, bro. And he's got a fucked
Where
up
the hell
leg.
he get bleach in jail?
Damn, he's
Hey,
got.
they get liquor in jail. They get drugs in
Yeah,
jail.
yeah.
I don't know what the hell am I
He's
talking
got a
about.
bro.
He's doing something to
He's
get
trying
that
to get.
bleach in
He's
jail.
trying to get out, bro. That whole episode is gonna be about him trying to get the fuck out of there.
Or is it the feds coming after those other guys? Is it the feds coming after?
No, because here's the okay. Now,
They plea deal.
yeah, they plead. So he's gonna.
Guarantee you, if they got him,
Yeah, they're not. Yeah.
then the feds they lose interest once they get the big fish.
But here's the thing with the feds. The feds, there's no love in the feds. That's the one thing I remember. There's no love in the feds. If that fool Jeff F's up again, and he will, I promise you he will.
That's what I mean.
They're going to be on his ass.
He may have already done that, and that's
going
what the
to.
new episode may be.
Going
That's
to.
what I'm saying.
That shit just gives you immunity from, because he already caught a case from before, okay? So what he was trying to do is get immunity from his case that he caught previous. That's why he even started hanging out with Joe, because he caught that case in Vegas.
It's a matter of time before Jeff messes up.
Bro.
Jeff is a fucking dumbass.
Oh, he's on the. They changed the name. He built that zoo. They changed the name of. Okay, sorry. Let me slow down. They were going to build that zoo in Thackerville. That shit is not built yet.
Use your words.
Because he wanted that one dude to build it all. That dude quit.
Right, yeah.
They changed the name of Joe's Zoo, okay? On Instagram, they're posting pictures with Joe's animals from Joe's Zoo. They haven't built the new zoo yet. Like, this dude's full of shit.
He doesn't have no money.
No,
He doesn't have money
he's
to build
done,
that
bro. He's going to try to do something
But
stupid.
I'm saying he's going to be in prison. He's going to be right next to Joe.
I think he's going to get killed, bro. I don't think he's going to no jail. I think he's going to. Because now, here's the thing.
Some people not cut out for jail. When they find out they're going,
Yeah.
the police have got to get to them immediately because they take a mouthful of pills
Yeah.
or they put a gun to their head.
Think about this, bro. He's snitching to. He orchestrated a murder for hire plot so he didn't have to do 179 days. It wasn't like they threw 15 years at him. He couldn't do 6.5 months, bro.
Yeah.
He set up a
Wow.
dude that did like 70 years in prison because he couldn't do 179 days. Now the problem is everybody in the whole world knows you're a snitch now. So
Wow.
the next time you go into jail, it's over.
How about the Chucky doll guy? He's the
a
biggest.
snitch,
He's
too.
the worst, dude.
He's a snitch too.
He's just like openly like, yeah, I'm a snitch. I just
Oh,
snitch on fucking everybody.
What happened to him? He caught a case. He said he got caught up. If you let these fools talk, they'll tell you everything. He got caught up. They caught him with
got diarrhea of the mouth. Just can't stop talking.
They caught
Yeah,
him with
oh,
a
yeah.
lemur. They caught him with a lemur. Okay.
Yeah.
And you're not supposed to. So what is he? So and
He
again,
just starts squealing on
No, they don't-
anybody who will listen.
they don't give a fuck about animals, bro. They want 20, 30 racks and they'll go away. Maybe you'll do a few months. But these fools are not cut out for it. He can't do 6 months.
The only guy on that show that I trust is telling the truth, and the only guy with a backbone, the only guy who's not a snitch, is that one guy who he lost both of his legs.
It's the guy, Ranky.
Ranky.
Yeah.
Ranky. He's the only guy that I think I would go have a beer with.
If Joe was smart, he would pay those fools a shit ton of money, Ranky, the dudes that work there, so that when this shit happens, you got some people on your side.
But Ranky was going to show up without that. Ranky was going to. They wouldn't let him show up to court.
Right.
But Ranky was going to go in and say, "Look, here's how it went down. Here's what happened."
Well, my point is you create that loyalty till it never gets to this point. If you got that kind of loyalty with your people, right when Jeff Lowe shows up, a dude is going to tell you, hey, bruh, don't F with this, right? And if y'all got a good relationship, you're going to listen. But if you're paying this dude $100 a week, $50 a week, and giving these fools expired meat to eat, you know what I'm saying? You're in a situation where they're not going to tell you
Right.
if they feel like that way because they know that their opinion is not valuable. So now you're setting yourself up to be set up because you're not treating your own people right. It's the mafia, it's the dope game, it's the gangs, it's the Black Panthers, it's all the same thing. You got to treat the people that were with you from day one right. Because if you don't, either they're going to snitch on you or they will allow you to be snitched on. It happens. You can look at any case with anything illegal.
Right.
Every single time is if you fuck over the people closest to you, they're either going to step back and just let you get snitched on, which is what Ranky did, or they are going to snitch on you.
Do you think the lady killed her husband?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. She says in the documentary, okay, remember the scene where the tiger
We're getting deep here.
Remember the scene where the tiger grabs Joe and pulls him under the thing? And he starts talking like Alonzo from Training Day. I'll kill all you. Remember that,
Yeah.
shit? Okay. So
King Kong ain't got shit
yeah,
on
he
me.
was like, I'll put right between your eyes. Like all that shit. Like he went full Denzel. It worked. He got out of the cage alive. He said somebody put cologne on his shoe. Right? Because cats, I've had cats before, they love stuff that smells. All animals do, but cats will like get up on it and like lick it and really like it. So he thought somebody put cologne on his shoe.
Right, I remember that.
They interviewed, my lips are so dry. They interviewed Carroll, and she was like, "That's not going to do anything." She's like, "What you would do?"
Oh yeah, she did. What
She
you would
said
do
that.
is
She
sardine
goes,
oil.
She
Yeah.
just covered their body in sardine oil.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, that's also just a
would-
play to
why
like
would
cats
you
like
tell them how
sardines,
you
so.
did it?
That because it's hubris.
But she's not. She wasn't.
She
So
killed
if
that.
you
She-
watch the show, she's not telling them how she did it. She's just saying like,
Oh, come on
it's
now.
stupid that
telling
cats
off on
don't like.
yourself.
Oh, that's how she did it, Dino.
That's how she did it,
That's how she did it, bro. She's telling you how she did
She
it.
covered her
Listen.
husband in sardine oil.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you mean?
Because captive tigers don't really have. They may hurt a human. They're not going to eat them. Because you've been feeding them meat their whole life. They're not going to eat. They're not human hunters if they're raised in captivity. So what you do is you take a dead body, right, or you take a person that's still alive a little bit, and you just cover them in sardine oil, and then they'll just eat the body.
You don't even need the sardine oil.
Yeah,
you
you
just
do.
chop up the
Not
body
with
and throw them in.
You have to.
You gonna
Not,
chop the body up?
not with a captive tiger. You'd have to
No.
put something on it. A wild tiger maybe, but they don't grow up eating human. They don't grow up eating. They might fuck you
Once
up,
they
but they're not
start
gonna.
eating human.
Yeah, they put.
I don't know. It's thin. It doesn't sound like that's
how
thin.
she did it,
It
bro.
doesn't sound to me like this is
how she did
the game breaking like detail.
Oh, she said, bro, if you, it's so obvious. The fool just randomly disappeared. She changed the will to.
Sure, she killed him. I believe you. I'm just saying.
She's saying how she did it. How else was she? How they haven't found a body, Dino?
She said.
Oh no, she fed
How
him to
she-
the tigers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how she did it. Because they're not going to eat his body
we
without
can't
something
prove
on it.
because we don't have any of the evidence.
I'm sure she
but-
did it. That bitch is crazy. From
Bro.
the second she comes on the screen, you see her eyes. She has those fucking crazy eyes, man. Like
The
Ooh.
one
like
thing,
oh.
one thing that did it for me. The one, no,
Been there.
there's a lot of things, but the one thing was her brother-in-law was It was in the fucking sheriff's department, bro. And that's the one thing. These motherfuckers will suppress evidence.
Yeah.
They'll fucking give bullshit interviews.
You
Like,
don't trust the cops?
fuck no. I don't have anything
I
against
got friends that's cops.
I was gonna
and
say,
won't
bro,
tell them nothing.
nothing. I don't have any. I respect everybody. I respect.
Right.
Mark Henry told me, "Now you will never hear none of those stories."
I respect any person that does their job, bro. Like I respect everybody. There's no disrespect
Right,
towards
right.
cops. I'm not attacking police officers.
I'm gonna tell you bear stories.
Before
Yeah,
you tell you
stories about bears.
Yeah.
Video games playing with Xavier Woods.
Yeah.
Who we're gonna have on, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, but I don't do none of that, man.
I turned into Dave Chappelle when the police start asking me. I don't know anything, copper.
I just don't trust them.
Right.
I just don't trust them. I just don't trust them. That's my thing. I don't trust them. I don't have anything against them. I just don't
It's
trust them.
not that I don't trust them. It's just that I think that I might get crack sprinkled on me.
Hey, how many cases have they vacated in Baltimore? and
crack all
Chicago
over 'em.
for that same thing, for playing crack on people.
Well, here we are once again, and it's not a sports show, and we have His Royal Highness Prince Jaffe Jaffa, Mr. Xavier Woods, with us today. What's going on, Mr. Woods?
What's going on?
Look at it.
You know,
look at
it's
it.
me.
Look at it.
I
I like
tried to
that.
write on
I
the
used to
speaker,
call
I
it.
can't hear it.
I used to call
Turn
it
the stereo-
consequences. Consequences Creed. Ladies and
In a
gentlemen,
previous life, you know.
in another life.
Yeah.
Man, I'm digging that chair, man. Like, I mean,
appreciate it.
that looks awfully expensive.
It's the official New Day gaming chair.
Oh.
You know
See,
how I roll.
we talk
Easy.
about
You know
big
how I
dog
roll.
and flossing.
Easy.
And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is a segue into how you become a mogul, not only just in pro wrestling, but this guy that we're sitting here talking with is an unbelievable businessman. He's got one of the largest, if not the largest, gaming site in the world. Up, down, down. Go check it out. It's unbelievable. This guy, I'll tell you more about it. Tell us how the website got started.
Okay, so the YouTube channel got started, maybe 5 years ago now. So at that point, the network was a blossoming, young, budding idea, and they came down and they said, "Hey, if you guys have any ideas for shows, let us know, and we might give you a spot because we need some content." I go, "All right, perfect." Well, as we travel from town to town, as you know we do, everybody does their own thing. My thing is finding arcade bars, which if you don't know what those are, they're essentially like dive bars with tons of arcade machines in them, because now all the kids that played those back in the day can drink, so that's what we do. And so my thought was, maybe if we have a Travel Channel-esque show and say, hey, when you're in Atlanta, go to Battle and Brew. They have this on the menu. They have these kinds of drinks. They have these kinds of games. When you're in Chicago, go to Galloping Ghost, and kind of just doing that. Read out the whole pitch. It was great. I explained it. Shot down immediately.
Shot down. Shots fired.
Immediately. But there was somebody on the office side of things who was wanting to make a YouTube channel with one of the talent. And so we ended up crossing paths, and he said, hey, why don't we make a gaming channel? We can combine the ideas. It's like, okay, cool, let's try it. And so that first couple of episodes was just very weird, done in his basement. We had no clue what we were doing, but luckily people liked it and it popped off. And through meeting different kinds of people, through social media, through YouTube, through Twitch, I made a solid group of friends who's helped me get to the point that I am. So just talking to people in the gaming industry that had that experience and were willing to share it with me is legit how I got here. Is just my friends helping me and me asking the right questions.
Well, you know me. I've only played sports games. Actually, basketball and football is the end of it when it comes to what I play. You are very diverse in your gaming. We have a gamer on the show called Phranchyze. And then we also have my man, a myth, not a legend yet, but he's just a myth to everybody.
Not a legend.
Dino.
I see me on that Madden game. You change your mind about being a legend.
See,
Uh-oh.
listen,
But, bro,
so Woods, he threatened me with playing football.
Wow.
Can you tell him that the Cowboys have not punted in 8 years?
but do you win?
I win.
Punting is-
I lost 2 championships to the same guy, and I whooped everybody else. Everybody in the WWE got their head handed to him.
Who's this
But
legend you
Seth
lost to?
Rollins, Seth Rollins, man, he played with Chicago, man, and he has a running game and a stiff defense. And hey,
Stiff D.
That's
how you gotta
bro.
I
had to do it, right? I had to do that,
Especially
right?
in these hard times.
Yeah, I had to do
These hard times.
No, so the funny thing about Mark losing that match or that game to Rollins is that was before Up Up Down Down was a thing.
Yeah,
right.
We were overseas, and I wanted to start kind of trying to figure out how to do a gaming channel. But at that point, I just wanted to kind of get pictures and stuff with my friends because we don't in wrestling. You know this, Mark. Like cameras aren't really a thing. Like taking pictures like all the time, like when we're out and stuff.
No.
It's not a thing. And so I think that with this current generation, we've changed that a little bit, and we have more photographic evidence of memories of like going to Ribera. We got a bunch of pictures and stuff we can look back on when we're older. And so I was like, you know what? Let's see if we can do it with video games. And so
we'll
we
have to
record the game.
explain Ribera to the listeners because everybody's not exposed to our world.
This is true. So Ribera is a steakhouse in Japan, in Tokyo.
Okay.
And it's very, very wrestling driven. There's tons of wrestling stuff all over the walls. It's got probably, as far as restaurants go, the richest wrestling history of any restaurant that I know.
In the world, yeah.
Yeah. And so when you go there and you're a wrestler, they are kind enough to hand you a Ribera jacket. And that's kind of the pinnacle of getting wrestling gifts. Like once you have a Ribera jacket, it's like, oh,
You made it.
I made it.
Right.
Made it, guys.
Right. That's cool.
Franchise, give me something. Franchise. Xavier Woods introduced me to the Rocket League game,
Okay.
which is the only game outside of Madden and NBA 2K that I play.
I don't play Rocket League. What's up, Xavier? It's Phranchyze, greatest battle rapper in Texas history here.
Battle rapper, okay.
Yeah.
You got bars?
Oh man, I stay with the bars, man. I stay with bars all day.
I forgot, Woods. I forgot that you had game.
Do me a favor after this, Woods. Go on and look me up. PHRANCHYZE. You'll see the bars.
Google me.
in full effect.
Google me.
Google me.
Already.
What's your best win? What's your best win?
I had a 2. So I was in Wrestlemania 2. I don't know if you're familiar with the acapella battling like KOTD.
Yeah.
Okay, so
King of the Dot. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay, so
let's
this
go.
is
Flop in the UK. Come on.
Yeah, bro. Okay, so this was when grind time was still a thing. So this is before KOTD took that market, like space in the market. So this was grind time. This was Grizzlemania 2. It was me and Star Almighty versus Real Deal, who's still a good friend of mine. Shout out Real Deal, and Fresco. So it was a 2-on-2 tournament. It was a big upset in the first round that we beat them in, and then we battled Johnny Storm, another homeboy of mine. Shout out Johnny Storm, and Madness in the second round. I think they ended up winning the tournament. That's probably the biggest. But I battled. I did a bunch of. I battled D-Lore in the Bay. I've done a bunch, man. I won. Now, I guess my biggest non-acapella battle, I did the Eminem Red Bull battle twice in Houston, and I won both years. So I won. I was like the back-to-back champion of that as well. And then obviously a bunch of battles before.
Look at this. Now you're like, oh snap!
This man is real. I love battle rap. I love it.
Oh, bro, it's like wrestling, bro. It's like the same. Because all the battle rappers, that's the one thing. There's a lot of different battle rappers from all over the world that have a lot of different backgrounds. But one thing that I found out when I kind of got to the circuit, we all love wrestling. All of us, to a man, because it's very similar. It's very, very similar. So I wanted to ask you. We were talking about Madden. I'm not a big Rocket League guy. I'm a big Madden guy. I play a lot of Madden. A lot. I'm a big fighting game guy too. I play Tekken 7, Soul Calibur, that kind of stuff. I have a bunch of Neo Geo tattoos. I don't know if you can see them. A bunch of
So you just named a bunch. You just named a bunch of stuff that you can get bodied by me in.
Okay, bro. This is what I want. Okay, so this is what.
Shots fired.
This is what I want. Okay, so if bro, we can do the Madden thing. I'm ready, bro. I don't
Madden. I'm trashed.
Okay. All right. But
fighting game though.
T7. We can play a little T7.
Yeah, my king will obliterate you.
All right, I'm a Gigas main, so I'm just gonna tell you now, I'm a Gigas main. So
Me and
I took
Dino
2
sitting up
rounds
there
off
like,
of
what?
Knee.
Huh?
The grandfather of Tekken. My first time I got to play at Evo in Tekken 7, I was up against Knee, the man who's the grandfather of Tekken. I took 2 rounds off him.
who, Harada?
What's up? No, King.
Oh,
Or sorry,
oh,
no, Knee.
Oh, Knee. Oh, okay. All right. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I watched Knee to learn. I watched Knee to learn Gigas essentially.
Yes.
So
yes.
yeah, man. We can. Yeah.
So we got to set this up. This is one of those live streaming moments that we have that we can just dedicate a whole section of the show to watch you two do a fight.
Yeah, man.
I'm into it.
We'll do it.
Oh,
We can get a first to 5.
Yeah, let's do it. I know. I already know what you're gonna. You say you main King. I main King for a long time, so I already know. what's coming.
I think I might.
Oh, that doesn't mean that you can stop it. That's what's even worse.
Okay.
You guys got to get me a line. You guys got to get me a line on this thing so I can start taking bets.
Yeah. Oh, we got a
How do I work-
degenerate gambler on the.
Yeah, how do I work the line in a game?
The gambling game is crazy right now. My wife sent me this link, or like she has like some homeboys from Pittsburgh that gamble. These dudes were betting on how many push-ups this dude could do in 24 hours.
Yes.
Like the game is crazy right now.
What?
So did it on Friday? I was on Neil deGrasse Tyson's podcast. I'm gonna drop that name. We were talking about how the fact that there's no professional sports going on right now, America has to find something, and that thing is essentially esports. It's been there for years. It can still go on now. It's like really the only thing that's an established sport that can still continue right now. And so it's very interesting seeing people gravitate towards that because America is so hinges on competition, the spirit of it, people gambling, people just getting excited about a home team, and they don't have that right now. And so they're searching for it. And I feel like people are just starting slowly more gravitating towards Twitch. They're going towards caffeine. They're going towards Mixer. They're all over YouTube. And all they're seeing is these people who have dedicated their lives to playing video games on the internet. And that's what they want. What's up?
Sound like those porn sites or something?
Those are gaming platforms.
So what about I saw on ESPN they're doing NASCAR, like the actual NASCAR drivers are competing in a video game style.
That's dope.
Yes.
That's dope.
And it's like they're sitting in those like actual cars.
That's dope.
Yeah. Those games are
You know what I would like to see?
What?
I would like to see a regular person get the race against Dale Earnhardt
In the simulator.
in the simulator.
So-
Yeah, that could be
see
dope.
the difference between somebody that think they can game and somebody that thinks they can drive, and then put them together against each other and see like what's really going on.
That'd be cool.
Because there's a bunch of gamers out there that drive driving games. They think they're live when they're in their living room with a little controller in their hand.
Yeah.
But I like to see them with a real steering wheel and have to shift and race against a pro. I pay money to see that.
So that happened. So
What?
there's a F1 racing game, and the
Forza.
kid who is like the best F1 racer in the game
Forza, yeah.
beat the fastest time for a actual real track. They put him in a suit, put him in the car, and he beat the fastest track time of a professional racer.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Wait, hold on.
Yes.
That's news.
Trying
to
to-
Break
me.
that
look
down
it up.
for me again. So they put the kid was he was playing the video game.
He was like the best at the F1 game. I'm looking at the article right now.
Is it
So
Forza
this
or is
dropped
it another
January
F1
21st,
game?
2019, and the headline is "A guy trained on video games just beat a Formula One driver on a real track."
And then they put him in the car, and he really raced in the car.
Yeah, he raced legit in the car. They put the whole
breaks
outfit
the
on him,
record.
the burn suit, the helmet, strapped him in, and he beat the actual racer.
Can I ask, what does that do for the sport then?
I feel like it makes it more intriguing. Adds
Yeah.
intrigue.
No, it seems like it belittles the sport a little bit to have. That's like having a video game wrestler come to a show and beat me.
But it's the Happy Gilmore effect. It's the Happy Gilmore effect. You always want to see, everybody always wants to see the regular guy get over.
But this
always.
this has been the thing in racing and NASCAR
Santino
forever.
Marella.
Yeah.
The
Right.
thing has been people saying, "Oh, it's not a real. You're not a real athlete if you're a driver and things like that, right?" And so, I haven't subscribed to that by any
Of
means.
course not.
But does it that kind of like hints
Okay.
at that, right?
Okay, but what about like the Disney movie where that science teacher was like could throw 94 and the devil rays brought him up? Does that make baseball weaker? No, none of the.
It's a movie.
I know, but that
Well,
really
that
happened.
happened
That
in
really
real
happened.
life.
That happened in real life. It's based on a real story.
And just being able to throw a ball fast is different than going on like having accuracy, having a slew of pitches. To
But it's the same.
this guy actually went on the track.
But it's the same kind of concept. The sports are different, yes, but we're talking about the same concept, right? We're talking about if a person that's not trained to be a professional can seemingly anyway through their athletic achievement, quote unquote, compete against people that have been training their whole lives, does it weaken the sport? My answer is no, because from the first perspective, the money is so deep in auto racing. It's not you only weaken. It's a niche sport already. You can only weaken it to a certain degree.
Right.
And anything you add that has anything to do with regular people or regular life will usually add more eyeballs to the sport. So I think a person that's not trained that learned through a video game, like that story writes itself. Like people, I want to see the dude in F1 now. I don't even know the dude's name.
Right, but you just touched on it.
But he's also doing this on a simulator, not in a real car.
Oh, he went in a real car.
He went in a real car and
Yes.
drove for 2 hours?
Yeah. So, and Fran, you touched
so
on it.
it's F1, so the races aren't like NASCAR, not like that length.
Right.
I don't think.
It's no. It's more of the like. It's not the. Yeah.
The
Fran, you
curvy tracks and the weird, like those cars that can like pick up off the ground if you turn them too fast and fly away. Pretty
Open
much.
wheel.
Oh, yeah. Now I get it. I'm thinking NASCAR because I'm
not the
from
stock car.
supposed to be Texas.
Yeah, not a stock car.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, like a F1. Yeah.
Fran, you touched on it though. Racing is a sport that we've always, has had that stigma to it. If you have the money
Right.
and you come up in that, it's not about being an athlete, and
Right.
that's kind of what I'm asking. Like, so there's that argument that
Is it a sport?
not necessarily is it a sport, but is Dale Earnhardt Jr. an exceptional athlete, or has he just been training his whole life?
It's like bowling or just like golf. Like, you know what makes golf an athletic thing? Carrying that bag yourself for 18 holes. Now, endurance plays a part.
It's true though. Yeah.
Strength and conditioning plays a part.
They don't carry the bag themselves.
They don't, and that I gotta say, is a part of what makes golf not what bowling has become. Bowling, they say it's a game. It's not a sport.
Well, John Daly doesn't even want to walk it anymore.
I know he drives in a cart.
Yeah.
My fat ass would be in a cart too.
I think with the amount of like torque and pressure, and dexterity that you know what I'm saying, like it's in the cart.
I'm just thinking of what was it, Mania when they brought us down on the golf carts?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I'm thinking.
It was like 60 yards.
Yeah, it was so long.
It would have took everybody 5 minutes. The show would have been 18 hours long.
I forgot about that. Oh man. Okay, let me segue real quick because I think this is a good time to segue.
Well, hey, I want to jump into that
go ahead.
conversation quick. So I feel like it adds to the sport and to the whole zeitgeist of F1 racing because
Ooh,
I hear
zeitgeist.
a guy, the conversation. There we go.
Look at the big brain on Brad.
Essentially, having a kid who was able to take the time that it takes to get as good as he got, he's got to spend just as much time as those guys who are racing physically in the cars.
Right.
Now he gets a shot to show, hey, this game that the F1 people created is good enough to make you a good racer if you so choose to be.
Right.
And so that tells me, wow, I don't have access to an F1 car. I don't have people to give me money to try to get into the sport. But if I get good enough at this online game, I could possibly become a professional F1 racer. And then those professional F1 racers that eventually age catches up with them, they don't want to go through the dangers of actually being in the car. They've actually switched to becoming players in this online community. So now everyone is elevated. All the tide raises all ships, and everybody wins because now people are spending more money on the game. Those who want to try to go pro can. If you just want to watch the game or watch the races go down, you can. It opens up for that community to gain more money and more fans, no more eyes.
Does it then
opinion.
just go there? Does it go there permanently because it's no longer dangerous, right? And so I get it's going to take a while, but does the sport evolve to just being a gaming sport?
I mean, if things stay the way that they are now, yeah, and people would be like, okay, this is what this is now, and they would be the new normal, But even if it doesn't eventually take over, having an outlet for what is he drinking? That Waterloo?
Waterloo,
Ooh.
black cherry.
It's our little spot so we can plug Waterloo.
Oh,
can we?
Sparkling water.
Can we plug
Made right
that?
here in
Water.
Austin,
Can we plug
Texas.
that? Can we plug that? Is that a thing we can plug?
Waterloo
Yeah.
sparkling water.
He's got Waterloo.
Waterloo.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I think it helps everybody get more eyes on the products.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Such a clown.
What were you gonna
I can't help this show. Look, we're talking sports, but this is not a sports show. This is Xavier Woods, one of the smartest human beings I ever met in my life. I'm so happy to say that we have a sporting and a personal relationship. Hands down, he and Kane, the mayor of Knoxville, Tennessee, Glenn Jacobs,
Knox County.
are the two, Knox County, are the two smartest people that I've ever met in pro wrestling.
Whoa.
Yeah. That's safe to say.
Thank you.
Safe to say.
Thank you.
Professor.
I appreciate being in the same
Doctor.
breath as one Glenn Jacobs.
Dr. Woods.
Doctor, is he Doctor?
I'm sorry, and I didn't mean to cut you off earlier. You had a point going on. Please, you said you were going to segue to something.
Yeah, man. We were talking about this a little bit earlier, and I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on this. We were talking about some of the Mania stuff, and we were kind of talking about the Taker Styles match and just kind of the
That Boneyard match.
bro.
Hell yeah.
Like,
what a match.
What right? And so we were just kind of talking about cinematically, like how it looked and like how it felt. Is that a thing that we can? Obviously, I'm not asking for your insight. I'm just kind of saying from a fan's perspective. Is that a thing that does it go in that direction? Especially if maybe
I hope so.
right?
WWE has a movie studio. Why have we not been doing this
Yeah.
for decades? This is possible. The Undertaker hurts. His body hurts. Why have we not been doing this with him for years?
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so entertaining. And wrestling, so Raw, SmackDown, NXT, pay-per-views, WrestleMania, none of those are wrestling shows. They are shows about wrestling.
Right.
They are variety shows. There are different characters. There are different colors, shapes, sizes, creeds, religions, sexes, genders, everything across the board. So why not have a piece of the show that's different from everything else that you see on the show? It makes it so much more interesting. It's got its own unique thing, its own unique clip. If I see a clip of that with the AJ's hand coming up out of the dirt, I was crying,
Bro.
laughing.
I was
so
screaming
entertained.
so like a kid that never
Yes.
saw wrestling before.
Yes.
And this is the number one thing that made all wrestlers tune in is it extends your life in pro wrestling. It gives you another means to make money. Last night you saw on social media Mick Foley say, Vince, please, I want to be in the Boneyard match against Taker next year. When he said that, look at that, goosebumps. Zoom in. It was a goosebumps. Man, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you. Maybe we can get your brethren on at some point. But ladies and gentlemen, Xavier Woods, yes.
Kofi was robbed last night in that tag match.
Yeah.
Come on. See y'all
Well,
later.
guys, here we are. We'll be back here in just a minute.
What's the name of the show?
It's not a sports show.
Not a sports show.
And catch me at twitch.tv/Austin Creed. Catch me on YouTube, Up, Down, Down. Catch me every Monday with the New Day podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, type in the New Day, find the pink picture with the 3 black guys on it. Click that and subscribe. Your boy is on social media at Xavier Woods PhD. My DMs are open. What up?
Let's go.
That's what you call getting your shit in.
There it is.
That's it.
Thank you very much, man. We'll see you down the road, brother. All right, guys, that's another show. It was so good. I had a good time. Dino, Phranchyze,
Hey.
I appreciate y'all for the show today. Be sure to tune in next week on This Is Not a Sports Show.
And stick around right after this little logo here. We have a special bonus section where these guys teach me a little bit about the new Madden 20.
Auntie's trash.
Yeah, well, I just got it. Give me a month. Hey, Phranchyze, I got an idea. Why don't you sing us out with the Bluebell song?
Bluebell homemade ice cream. What a perfect way to say, have yourself a Bluebell country day. Fire.
That's it.
I just picked up a PlayStation 4,
Okay.
and I'm back in the Madden game for the first time in I'd say 5 years,
Trash.
really. And you guys are avid Madden players.
Yes.
And so I'm getting on there, playing a little bit. I'm doing all right. I think I played 6 games.
Online?
Against
yeah,
the
online.
computer?
Yeah, no, online.
Okay.
3 and
online.
3?
The computer will lie to you.
Yeah, computer will lie to you.
Yeah, no, I
You
know.
do different things to the computer.
And the thing that I'm, getting back into it, it's the actual gameplay, right? That I'm struggling with, like when to grab the defender, when to switch from safety to, a defensive end who's close to getting the sack and try to get that sack, or when to switch off of the linebacker onto the safety. So maybe you guys can help me elaborate a little bit on how the button mashing works on the new Madden.
Okay, so let's talk about basic mechanics for just a second. Okay, you're playing on PlayStation, right?
Yeah, of course.
So let's talk about basic mechanics. So let's talk defense first, because it sounds like most of your issues are on defense from what you're describing. Let's talk about
Yeah.
defense.
So the issues for me is like, okay, so I know where to get the defense in place, right, and to get him there to make a play. But then when I'm I want to know what I'm supposed to do. If I'm supposed to switch to the safety or the corner and try to make a play on the ball, using triangle or using square.
I love the way you say suppose.
Yeah, I want to know what am I supposed to do, and then I want to practice that.
Okay, so let's talk about mechanics first of all. When the balls, you never want to use the D line ever. Even if they're about to get a sack, let the computer get the sack. Okay.
What'd you stop for?
I can. Sorry, it's my bad.
It went completely silent.
My bad. Okay, so let the computer get the sack. Okay.
Okay.
Don't worry about
Don't worry about the sack.
Don't ever use the D lineman unless like you have a quarterback that's like scrambling and you have a lineman that's chasing him.
Okay, Mark, you on that too? Same thing.
Yes.
Don't ever use the D lineman.
don't.
Only use the linebackers. Don't ever use the corners. Use the safety or the linebackers.
Okay.
I generally will use the linebackers until I figure out what the person's trying to do, and then I'll start using the safeties.
Okay.
Okay. So you want to use your middle linebacker, okay, or the linebacker that's closest to the line, or not close to the line of scrimmage, but like if you have 2 linebackers, you want to use the one on the right. If you have 3 linebackers, you want to use the one on the middle. Okay. Now, unless the other one's just like a fucking stud,
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're playing with Chicago,
Take Khalil
and
Mack.
you know.
No, you don't want to stand him up. You want to keep him.
You want to
computer
run.
do it.
You want to run away from. You want to run away from Khalil Mack.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Okay.
Yeah, and I understand. Like,
Play on the other side. Play
Right.
defense on the other side of Khalil Mack.
oh, I see what you're saying now. Okay.
So
Okay.
let's talk about passing mechanics. When the ball's in the air, if it is you should be, if you're in coverage as a linebacker, you should be covering either. Now, when the play breaks, the game is going to tell you who to cover.
Yeah. Can I ask you a quick question
Yeah.
on that? So I'm holding down R2 to see who I'm supposed to be covering, right? So I know this guy's my responsibility, right?
Right.
If I jump to somebody else, does the rest of the defense, do they account for that? And does somebody pick up that open guy? And then let's say there's 2 tight ends in a set, and my linebacker is supposed to be man up on one of them,
Right.
but I actually jump on the other one. Does then the guy who was supposed to cover him, do they do that switch for me or
Depends
no?
on what coverage you're in. Depends on what coverage you're in, and depends on what team you are.
Okay.
If you're in a cover 3 match, for example, if they run a 2 tight end set and you're going to use the 1 tight end, the game will cover the other tight end.
Right.
It'll match whatever route the other tight end running. But if you're in
Unless you have him, you called a blitz with that linebacker, then now you have 2 tight ends streaking or running routes, and one is going, and you're trying to get coverage in between just so you can. You
Cover
play
both.
in between so
Right,
you
you're
can
just
cover
covering
them
them both.
both.
they're not going to bail. Like you're going to have to be in a pass coverage to make sure the other guy is covered. Now, this is what I was getting to. Adjustments. You can manually go in and put the other linebacker in man coverage. Okay? And this is the tricky part about Madden the last 3 or 4 years is the in-game adjustments, especially on defense. I don't do them too much on offense, but on defense I do a lot of them. So, let's say that you want to use one linebacker, but you definitely want the other linebacker in man coverage. Okay.
Okay.
What you would do is you would cycle over to that player by pushing circle. Okay.
Right.
And you would push X. when you push X.
You're talking Xbox.
No, I'm talking PlayStation. There's no
Okay.
circle button on Xbox. When you push X, okay, on PlayStation.
Yeah.
It's gonna bring up a little menu in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen.
Familiar.
There's an option. It'll say triangle and it'll say man coverage. Yeah. Or on mine it's Y. It depends on. So
Sure.
and then you push the corresponding pass button to put him in man coverage on that tight end.
On that receiver.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's other adjustments you
And
can. Go ahead.
If somebody else is already on man coverage on that guy, will that other defender automatically switch to somebody else?
Oh, they'll double cover him.
Oh, double
Oh,
covering.
nice.
But you can do automatic double coverage too. You can do double coverage too.
Okay.
So you can do in the secondary. You can do shift up, shift back. You can play the underneath. You can play the outside. You can guess it's a pass. You can play over the top. You can put guys in individual zones. So for example, if I have a corner that's playing off and I'm blitzing, right?
Yeah.
The left corner is playing 15 yards off. That's a free first down if you're playing me, right? Because I'm going to throw the out route pretty much every single time until you stop it. So what you can do is you can take that end and put him in what's called a curl flat.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? And so you're kind of individually putting same things that you've been playing from before. It's the same thing. They just added more stuff.
Got it.
Basically, just keeps outside containment.
Right.
Right.
So the name of the game is those group universal adjustments. If somebody tries to do like a no huddle, right? So somebody goes no huddle,
Yep.
and I was in a run stopping play before, I'll audible to a cover 3 or cover 2 or Tampa or whatever, spread my line, move my linebackers back, press the corners, because now I know they're going to throw it.
Right.
And if they run it, my linebackers are back and my corners are up. So my corners can, unless they're playing the Niners, who have like the best blocking receivers in the game,
Yeah.
the corners are going to come in.
Or the Cowboys.
Lex.
Right, the corners are going to come in, and then I can use the linebacker and just run through the hole.
Right.
You know, it's just about marrying your mechanics. So okay, let's talk about the pass game, pass defense. We're talking about switching. Click on when the ball's in the air. You want to just wait for it. The little circle is going to show up on the ground, right? When the circle's on the ground, don't even worry about the ball, dude. Don't worry about the ball. Do not worry about the ball. All you want to do is
Run to the spot.
Run to the spot. Click on, but here's the thing. When you run to the spot, hold turbo. Now, everybody holds triangle or Y, and you can do that. But there's another mechanic that they've been doing the last few years, and that's you can push X or A,
Oh.
and that plays the receiver. So even if you don't pick it off, what you can do is still come in and like bump them. Where before you had to do that manually, right? You have to hit sticker or hit X to do it. Now you can just hold turbo, go whatever direction you're going to get the ball, and hold A, and they'll just play the receiver.
And PlayStation would be holding X then.
Right. And then you can still ball hawk. So what I do is when they throw, I'm watching the ball flight in the air first of all, because I know.
You just said don't watch the ball.
No, the ball flight.
Got it.
Don't watch the quarterback throwing the ball.
Right.
Right. You should already be like
Going.
watching coverage. Like don't watch the backfield at all. You should be watching coverage. You should be seeing where the guy's going because 9 times out of 10 online they're throwing to one guy.
Right.
And if he's open, they're going to throw it to him. So if you cover him, a lot of times they'll just throw up some bullshit.
Right.
Right? And so when they do that, you switch on, you turbo, and you just run to the fucking spot, and you'll get the fucking ball.
Okay. Who's the best safety in the game?
Jamal Adams. That's why I play
Mark?
with the Jets.
Mark?
I would have to say Hopkins. Hopkins is the best comeback receiver. There's been many times where I've thrown the ball not very accurately, and Hopkins still gets back to the ball.
All right. Well, that's our bonus segment on a little Madden for Dummies.
I don't know about dummies.
Honorable mention,
Well, me.
Derwin James.
Me is the dummy. You guys are giving me the lesson here.
You will get roasted, Dino.
What'd you say?
I said honorable mention, Derwin James. From
Give
the
me a
Chargers.
month and I'll light you up. Give me a month. You heard it here first.
Y'all hear
You
this?
can pick my squad.
Oh, dude.
Ooh.
Can't beat me, man.
Give me a month.
You know what? And what he said all applies unless you play Baltimore because
Oh yeah, because the Lamar Jackson
anytime
cheat code.
Lamar Jackson is a cheat, man.
Yeah.
He can get outside of the tackle and run 7 to 10 yards and run out of bounds almost every time, a la Michael Vick, if you don't have an outside contained play. And 9 times out of 10, they're not going to throw the ball deep with the wide receivers. They're going to try to hit the tight ends, and they're going to run the ball. So, you want to play up on the line when you play Baltimore and always keep make the end go outside contain and scrape a linebacker whichever way he runs. If Lamar Jackson goes right, you go right. If he goes left, you go left. And let the computer play the other positions.
And you're just a Lamar
They
Jackson
have
spy.
You're a Lamar Jackson spy. And they have several times on the game put play action plays that look just like a running play on with Baltimore. And
RPO.
And those RPO plays, like, they will bite you.
Yeah.
And whoever plays with Baltimore, you'll learn to really hate them.
You play Tampa 2, okay? This is how you beat QB power, Baltimore, Lamar Jackson offense in Madden. Because usually people run QB power, RPO, sweep, and then like a tight end play. They run like 5 plays because the Ravens' passing game is not very good. So you run Tampa 2, you back the linebackers up. This is what I do. You back the linebackers up, you play QB contain on the D-line, then you spy a D-end. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky because you're going to have to guess. But like Mark's saying, if Lamar Jackson goes left, take the left end, and you strafe the left end across. Now, here's the tricky part. You don't try to tackle him, okay?
Try to run him back into his other
Right.
players.
You try to, because you're not going to make the angle. He's going to eat up the angle if you try to tackle him. It's impossible. But the D-ends are wide. So you strafe wide and make him either stop and try to juke you, which is not going to happen, or try to throw it because once
On the run.
right, or even if he's stationary. Remember,
Play for the turnover.
when you scramble, you're using half the field. Anything that's outside the hash on the inside, bro, it's getting picked off because Lamar Jackson's not that accurate. So any quarterback that scrambles like that, they're cutting.
Until next year.
Right, until next year. They're cutting off half the field. So what you want to do is play contain and just don't try play Tampa 2 and just don't try to tackle him. They're going to get yards. They're going to run up the sideline. They're going to do little stuff. But the thing with Madden this year is the quarterbacks fumble very easily. That's the other thing.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah,
I
so-
played against Lamar Jackson once, and he fumbled 5 times.
All right, so what you do is you just kind of play that contain and then let Lamar Jackson
Play the odds.
get a couple of those yards. Let him get some positive runs with Lamar Jackson because he's not going to throw it. And as long as they are not going crazy on you and the game's close, they're going to turn the ball over.
Right.
Everybody is, except me. Everybody's going to turn the ball over eventually.
Everybody except me.
I think I'm averaging 0.87 interceptions per game right now. So I never fumble.
Basically an interception a game.
No, it's less than interception a game.
I mean, it's right there.
No, it's less.
I mean,
It's less, trust me. Anything under 1 is like ridiculous, bro. So, and I very rarely
I don't have
fumble.
room to talk.
Yeah, I know.
Averaging 5. a
I
game.
very rarely fumble. And so that's all you got to do, man, is you got to just play for the turnovers because eventually the person you're playing is going to get aggressive. They're going to get cocky and make a mistake, especially with a team like the Ravens where they've beaten so many people by just like cheesing them.
Yeah, all you got to do is play spy and play with the safety.
Mark, do you want to